Hello, this is Jer Truer with Words and Music by Jer Truer. Tonight there's no music, just words. There's a very good friend of mine I've known for 35 years named Thomas R. Smith who lives in Wisconsin. He has gone up he's a very good poet, and he is he has taken many trips up to the maritime Canadian provinces as well as other places around the world. But one of the treasures he brought back many years ago was the work of a poet named Alden Nolan. And in fact, here's a book that Thomas edited called What Happened When He Went to the Store for Bread, Poems of Alden Nolan, published by Ally Press. And I wanted to read a poem, especially given that it's May 18th of 2020, and many of us are feeling socially deprived, touch deprived, etc., etc. And in some ways, this may make it worse for you in terms of your longing, but hopefully it'll warm your heart. The poem I wanted to read by Nolan is, to me, one of the best poems I think I've probably ever read, and I dare you not to tear up. Maybe you won't tear up the first time you listen to it, but upon repeated listening, I dare you not to tear up. So this is. I want to apologize for a word in the title. This poem was probably written maybe 30 or 40 years ago, and so the title has the word retarded in it, and that's a word we don't use anymore. However, in Nolan's day, it was not a dirty word, so to speak. It was not an inappropriate word. I mean, it could be used inappropriately, but he meant it in a respectful, just describing sort of way. So the title of the poem is He Sits Down on the Floor of a School for the Retarded. I sit down on the floor of a school for the retarded, a writer of magazine articles accompanying a band, that was met at the door by a child in a man's body who asked them, "Are you the surprise they promised us?" It's Ryan's Fancy, Dermot on guitar, Fergus on banjo, Dennis on pennywhistle. In the eyes of this audience, they're everyone who has ever appeared on TV. And I've been telling lies to a boy who cried because his favorite detective had not come with us, and he had sent his love, and no, I didn't think he'd mind if I signed his name to a scrap of paper. When the boy took it, he said, "Nobody will ever take this away from me," in a voice more hopeless than defiant, of one accustomed to finding that his hiding places had been discovered, used to having objects snatched away and out of his hands. Weeks from now, I'll send him another autograph. This one genuine in the sense of having been signed by somebody on the same payroll as the star. Then I'll feel less ashamed. Now everyone is singing Old MacDonald Had a Farm, and I don't know what to do. About the young woman, I call her a woman because she's 25 at least, but think of her as a little girl. She plays that part so well, having known no other. About the young woman who sits down beside me and, as if it were the most natural thing in the world, rests her head on my shoulder. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, not an hour for music. And at the best of times, I'm uncomfortable in a situation where I'm ignorant of the accepted etiquette. It's one thing to jump a fence, quite another to blunder into one in the dark. I look around me for a teacher to whom to smile out my distress, but they're all busy elsewhere. "Hold me," she whispers. "Hold me." I put my arm around her. "Hold me tighter." I do, and she snuggles closer. I half expect someone in authority to grab her or me. I can imagine this being remembered forever as the time the sex-crazed writer fondled the poor retarded girl. "Hold me," she says again. What does it matter what anybody thinks? I put my other arm around her. I rest my chin in her hair, thinking of children, real children, and how they say it, "Hold me," and of a patient in a geriatric ward I once heard crying out to his mother. dead for half a century. I'm frightened. Hold me. And of a boy soldier screaming on the beach of Dieppe, of Nelson in Hardy's arms, of Frida gripping Lawrence's ankle until he sailed off in his ship of death. It's all what we want in the end, to be held, merely to be held, to be kissed, not necessarily with the lips, for every kind of touching is a kind of kiss. Yes, it's what we all want in the end, not to be worshipped, not to be admired, not to be famous, not to be feared, not even to be loved, but simply to be held. She hugs me now, this retarded woman, and I hug her. We are brother and sister, father and daughter, mother and son, husband and wife. We are lovers. We are two human beings huddled together for a little while by the fire in the Ice Age 200,000 years ago. Thank you.